In health communication, our goal is to help others build and maintain good health behaviors. But how we communicate and what we focus on will often depend on the audience that we're trying to reach. Here I have an obvious example. Imagine that you're speaking to a group of people about preventing constipation. You want to inspire them to do three things after you speak to them. You want them to eat more fiber, drink more water, and get some daily activity, as these are all helpful behaviors that prevent constipation. But how you discuss the topic will differ a lot between these two groups. The senior citizen group will be more comfortable with the topic of poop, but you will need to ease into that topic with the group of school children and perhaps use different wording like tummy ache or can't go to the bathroom. The education and the tips that you provide will also differ because you'll need to tailor this to the unique needs and the interests and the abilities of that audience. In the end, you want both groups to do those three things. You want them to eat fiber, drink water, and move their body. But how you approach the topic itself will be entirely different due to a different audience. Health communication is ultimately aimed at behaviors. We are reinforcing good behaviors and helping eliminate or change less healthy behaviors. When we are communicating about health, we need to keep in mind what exactly we want people to do. This is the action part. What behavior will help with the identified problem? This will be much more effective if we spend time getting to know the target audience. Why do they currently do a less healthy behavior? Why should they care about changing to a more healthy behavior? And what exactly is that more healthy behavior? Beginning health communicators tend to stick to education-based messages, which aim simply to educate. But effective health communication doesn't put so much focus on the educating and instead puts focus on doing. Here we have an example of a health communication tool aimed at a college-age student audience, telling them to be aware of your surroundings. But this message on its own would be meaningless. They made sure to add the specific action: head up, phone down. They aren't spending time on explaining why. Instead, they're allowing the visuals to do the educating. The person is in danger of getting hit by a car because he's not paying attention. Let's practice by imagining trying to promote the importance of doing strength building activities to three different audiences. Resistance exercise, which helps build muscles and keep muscles strong, is important for everyone. When we lose enough muscle mass, we experience lower metabolism and we gain weight easier, but we also eventually lose our ability to do things that require muscle, such as lifting heavy groceries or getting up off the ground if we fall, or even walking without the use of a cane. So, start with a target audience of active senior citizens, like the gentleman playing golf. He'll likely be most motivated to add resistance exercise if we can convince him that it will help him stay independent for longer and enjoy his lifestyle. But if we shift and talk to teenage girls, we'll need a different approach. This target audience might worry about adding bulk with weight training. She may worry that adding muscle will change her appearance in a way she doesn't want. In this case, we might put our focus on the power of muscle to burn calories and sculpt the body. In other words, putting our focus on aesthetics. Shift again to frequent business travelers. Their main concern may simply be having energy for their travel demands, so our focus might be on strategic workouts that help with this. They would also need specific tips for getting resistance training done while they're traveling. When tailoring messages to an audience, it's important to stick to the WIFM technique. That is, what's in it for me. When you apply WIFM, it helps you put communication focus on what the audience needs to know and cut out what is nice to know but unnecessary for the action step you want them to take. For example, say you're creating communication messages designed to help middle-aged men get enough fiber. First is the why. Why would a middle-aged man care about fiber? Well, fiber will help him stay regular with bowel movements, and it'll help him feel full with less calories, which might help to prevent weight creep as he gets older. A high fiber diet might also help him to prevent things like heart disease, diabetes, certain types of cancer. He's probably at that stage of life where these chronic diseases are a bit more real, and he may therefore be ready to take steps to prevent them. Once you have him convinced, now he needs the concrete tips. Where does he find fiber? What foods can he eat? What are some examples of high fiber snacks or side items he can order at a restaurant? Things he doesn't need to know in order to do the new behavior, which is eating a high fiber diet, can be left out entirely. He doesn't need to know how fiber is measured by scientists or even the difference between types of fiber. Instead, stick to the WIFM information. Targeting an audience allows you to sell a health behavior. This is the same concept used by advertisers. They have a product they want people to buy. They identify a likely target audience that might be willing to buy their product. They complete an audience analysis, identifying what's most important to that audience. What do they care about? What do they need? Then they position their product to fit that need. Here's an example below. The ad for McDonald's is targeting parents, specifically fathers. They identified that fathers want to be connected to their kid. They want to spend time with them and be loved by them and be liked by them. The Happy Meal allows them to do this, according to McDonald's. The kid is happy and likes the dad, and dad gets that moment of connection that he craves. The other ad is a health campaign aimed at teaching men skills to become involved as fathers. It encourages dads to simply spend time with their kids, doing things like reading to them or playing with them. Both of these ads are using the same sales techniques, but they're selling something different. One is selling a product, and one is selling health behaviors. Getting to know your audience before you communicate will help you target them with specifics that resonate. Here we have two campaigns aimed at skin cancer prevention, but they're aimed at two different types of an audience who have different practices. One is aimed at men who tend to avoid sunscreen when outside because they're underestimating the risk of getting skin cancer. The other is aimed at women who appreciate having tanned skin and frequent tanning beds, again, underestimating the risk. Both campaigns are attempting to get the audience to have a heightened sense of risk of skin cancer, with the ultimate goal that their behavior will change. Here's another piece of health communication aimed at a specific audience, and this is aimed at skin cancer detection. But this is a unique one because this campaign is providing outreach to nail technicians who cater to Black clients. So the most common form of skin cancer in Black and brown skin is called acral melanoma, which shows up in the palms of the hand, the feet, but also the nail bed. And so this campaign offers these nail stickers to local nail salons in hopes that the technicians and clients are able to spot a potential issue when it shows up. They also have outreach material aimed at Black and brown women, showing nails that may or may not be customized, decorated, or could it possibly be nail melanoma? One more example of health communication differing depending on the target audience. All of these are aimed at preventing accidental fentanyl intake. The first one that says using cocaine tonight was a campaign done by New York City Health Department, and it's aimed at active drug users to provide safety tips on fentanyl. These would be placed in bars and other carefully selected public locations where the selected target audience might see them. The middle example is clearly aimed at a younger demographic. Note the use of slang. It's trying to convince younger kids to safely dispose of prescription pills they may have gotten their hands on because they might be laced with fentanyl. The third one is aimed at parents of teens, and it's trying to convince parents to talk about the risk with their teens of pills being laced with fentanyl.